Speed and betrayal. When the stakes are high, trust is the first thing to go. Hey everyone, welcome back to Movies on the Brain. I'm Jason, and today we're diving into the slick, high stakes world of Takers, a crime thriller directed by John Lucenhop, with a stacked cast that includes Idris Elba, Paul Walker, T.I., Michael Ealy, Chris Brown, Hayden Christensen, and Matt Dillon. This film delivers a sharp mix of cool-headed precision and explosive tension. It's about the rush of the job, the weight of loyalty, and how fast everything can fall apart. Let's get into it. Takers opened in theaters on August 27, 2010 with a budget of $32 million. During its 12-week theatrical run, it earned $57.7 million domestically and $11.3 million internationally, making a worldwide total of $69.1 million. Its opening weekend saw it earn $20.5 million, finishing number one in the box office, ahead of the likes of The Last Exorcism, The Expendables, Eat, Pray, Love, and The Other Guys, numbers 2 through 5 respectively, with The Last Exorcism also opening the same weekend. Its final week in theaters saw it earn $101,374, finishing its box office run at number 34. Detective Jack Wells and Eddie Hatcher investigate a daring heist by a group of well-organized bank robbers, led by Gordon Cozier. The crew consists of John, AJ, and brothers Jake and Jesse Attica. A former member, Ghost, was caught during a previous robbery 5 years before. In his absence, Jake began a relationship with Ghost's former girlfriend, Lily, who recently accepted his marriage proposal. After Ghost is released from prison, he reconnects with the crew and proposes a major heist. Only 5 days from now, $25 million will be transported by a convoy of two armored trucks, with all the money being carried in the first truck. Dressed as construction workers, the crew hide out underground, while Ghost poses as a police officer so he can keep an eye out for the trucks. Meanwhile, John is ready to take out Ghost with a sniper rifle from the top of a nearby garage in case the whole thing goes as set up. The crew plan to detonate a blast when the armored truck passes overhead, causing the trucks to fall underground. However, a cyclist causes the lead driver to stop short and the explosives are detonated too early. The lead driver radios the police while armored guards pile out of the rear truck. A gunfight ensues between the robbers in the crater and the guards on the street until John commandeers the rear truck and rams the lead truck into the crater where the crew cut into it. John and the other robbers pack the cash into bags and flee through different sewage tunnels, which they know to intersect with the subway system. Wells and Hatcher show up on the scene, and after learning of the robbery's escape through the sewer system, remember a map of the city subway system from the Russian gang hideout, and deduce that they must be escaping through the stations marked on the map. They rush to the nearest station, where they find Jesse, and a chase ensues, during which Jesse hides his bag of money and is cornered. He shoots Detective Hatcher and escapes while Wells stops to aid his partner, who dies from his wound. Jesse reconvenes with the rest of the crew at a hotel room. It is now revealed that Ghost had previously cut the same deal with the Russian gangsters to rob the truck, but double-crossed them by going early, effectively cutting them out. Ghost gives the Russians the hotel room number and escapes out the bathroom window just before the Russians storm the room and attempt to kill the crew. AJ sacrifices himself to save the others in the ensuing gunfight, and the rest of the crew are able to kill the Russians and flee the building before the police arrive. Jake and Jesse return home where Jake finds Lily's corpse. Also, the safe where they kept their secret stash of money had been cleaned out. The police surround their bar and kill both while they make a suicide charge outside. Gordon and John separate to make their escape, but realize that Ghost intends to take all of their money, which is being held by Scott, a well-connected fence. Ghost sneaks onto Scott's private plane and kills him, taking their laundered money in 2 suitcases. Gordon and Detective Wells arrive, and a three-way Mexican standoff results in which Ghost hits both Gordon and Wells. As Ghost prepares to finish off Gordon, John arrives and shoots him dead. John recognizes Wells as the same cop who was with the little girl. John and Gordon refuse to kill Wells. John and an injured Gordon take the money and drive off, with Gordon's sister Naomi in tow. A gravely wounded Wells manages to call 911 for help on his cell phone. Now let's look at the cast and some of their other roles they've had. Matt Dillon as Jack Wells. Other roles for Matt Dillon include Dallas Winston in The Outsiders, Bob in Drugstore Cowboy, and Johnny in Capone. Paul Walker as John Raway. Before his passing in November of 2013, other roles for Paul Walker include Raw Dog in Pawn Shop Chronicles, Ben Garvey in the Lazarus Project, and Jared in Into the Blue. Idris Elba as Gordon Thomas G. Cozier. Other roles for Idris Elba include Nelson Mandela in Mandela Long Walk to Freedom, Fluke in Finding Dory, and Chief Bogo in Zootopia. Jay Hernandez as Eddie Hatcher. Other roles for Jay Hernandez include Paxton in Hostel, Diablo in 2016 Suicide Squad, and Bonnie's dad in Toy Story 4. Michael Ealy as Jake Attica. Other roles for Michael Ealy include Ricky Nash in Barbershop, Slapjack in Too Fast, Too Furious, and Reed Broderick in the TV show Bel Air. Tip T.I. Harris as Delante Ghost Rivers. Other roles for Tip T.I. Harris include Dave in Ant-Man, Sean in Sleepless, and Russell in Get Hard. Chris Brown as Jesse Attica. Other roles for Chris Brown include Alex in Think Like a Man, Duran in Stomp the Yard, and Rooster in Battle of the Year. Hayden Christensen as AJ. Other roles for Hayden Christensen include Anakin Skywalker in the Star Wars franchise, David Rice in Jumper, and Don Piper in 90 Minutes in Heaven. Zoe Saldana as Lily. Other roles for Zoe Saldana include Neytiri in James Cameron's Avatar franchise, Irma St. Clair in Amsterdam, and Maria in The Book of Life. Marianne Jean-Baptiste as Naomi Cozier. Other roles for Marianne Jean-Baptiste include Vivian Johnson in the TV show Without a Trace, Sarah Sharp in The Sea Beast, and Dr. Whittle in Edge of Tomorrow. Glenn Turman as Chief Detective Duncan. Other roles for Glenn Turman include Dr. Woodward in Super 8, Roy Hansen in Gremlins, and Toledo in Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Steve Harris as Lieutenant Carver. Other roles for Steve Harris include Eugene Young in the TV show The Practice, Private McCoy in The Rock, and Freddy in The First Purge. Jonathan Shaich as Scott. Other roles for Jonathan Shaich include Justin Wise in Blue Ridge, Richard Fenton in Prom Night, and Mims in Marauders. Gaius Charles as Max. Other roles for Gaius Charles include Brian Smash Williams in the TV show Friday Night Lights, John in the TV show Taken, and Joseph in Alice. Gideon Emery as Sergey. Other roles for Gideon Emery include Warren Paxton in G20, Steve Fox in the Tekken 8 video game, and Officer Reynolds in the TV show Scream, the TV series. Zule Hanal as Monica Hatcher. Other roles for Zule Hanal include Detective Newton in Grand Isle, Esperanza in the TV show If Loving You Is Wrong, and Cece in Feel the Noise. Nick Turturro as Franco Dahlia. Other roles for Nick Turturro include Brucey in 2005's The Longest Yard, Jerry Spencer in Call Her King, and Newton in Angels Fallen. Andrew Fiskella as the security chief. Other roles for Andrew Fiskella include The Mechanic in The Final Destination, James McCready in Quarantine, and Stephen R. in Vacancy. Gino Anthony Pesci as Paulie Jr. Other roles for Gino Anthony Pesci include James Nava in the TV show Shades of Blue, Corporal Nick Stavro in Battle Los Angeles, and Dio in First Shift. Before I get into my thoughts properly, I just want to say when I saw this movie on Tubi and I saw the actors, it shows the description. I just knew I had to watch and review this. I like that within the first few minutes we get shots of Matt Dillon, Jay Hernandez, Idris Elba, Paul Walker, and T.I. I think it really sets the tone for the movie. Paul Walker, Idris Elba, Chris Brown, Michael Ealy, and Hayden Christensen being the squad that works together in this wasn't what I had expected, but I like it. I didn't expect Matt Dillon to be a cop with the way that opening scene started us out, but he took one hell of a tumble down the stairs. Hayden Christensen playing the inside man when the heist is going down is perfect because he's one of the big names in this movie, but you don't see him until about 10 minutes in. That explosion of the helicopters and the group of five driving away is such a gorgeous looking scene, and then to follow it up with T.I.'s character getting out of prison and going to get caught up with Sergey is so good. Just from their first scene together, I love the chemistry between Michael Ealy and Zoe Saldana. I also like that we get a look at the private lives of John, Gordon, Jake, and Jesse, and then to follow it up with Jack and Eddie scrubbing video footage trying to find the heist crew. T.I. and Paul Walker have some good chemistry. T.I. is a surprisingly good actor, at least in the few movies that I've seen him in. Our core group of Brown, Ely, Walker, Christensen, and Elba all have really good chemistry as a group. And I love that Christensen is basically the baby brother of the group, even though out of the five, he's 8 years older than Chris Brown. Less than 30 minutes in, and we finally get the title drop, and the way Idris Elba says it is awesome. Such a random Nick Turturro appearance, and I love it. The dude is a fantastic actor. That 3-on-1 fight scene with AJ as the one was a lot of fun to watch, well choreographed and well shot. I love that they cast an actress with an English accent to play Idris Elba's sister. They have good chemistry as well. Jay Hernandez and Matt Dillon are so good as partners. They have crazy good chemistry. I feel like I'm saying that a lot about actors in this movie, but I'm not wrong. Jack tailing John and Gordon has such a good score behind it. It really ups the tension. I really like the cuts between Gordon and Jack, both stressing about two different things and handling them in different ways. The fact that Jack and Gordon are just feet from each other and Jack didn't see him, as far as we know at this point, is crazy to me. And I love the use of slow motion when Jack flashes his badge. The fact that Naomi had bills from the bank heist and got arrested with them while Jack finds out the information is crazy to find out, but so well written. When the crew picks up Jake, Ghost is staring daggers through Lily, and the way both T.I. and Zoe Saldana play it is incredible. Wow, I didn't see Eddie being a dirty cop, but man, that's a phenomenal scene. And the way Matt Dillon plays being betrayed is so good. The entire armored truck scene is so well shot, and even with them detonating the charges early, I like how John gets in the empty armored truck and pushes the other one into the hole, and then drives in himself to save himself. So a really fun action scene and fun set piece. The foot chase with Jesse being chased by Jack and Eddie is so good and fun to watch. I love that even though we find out in the immediate following scene, we don't know who shot who between Jesse and Eddie. Fun little scene showing us Jack's POV when the shot is fired. The scene where Eddie dies is so touching because even with Eddie being a dirty cop, his only priority was his family, and he wants Jack to take care of his family. That line delivery of Jack's "Yeah, I'm fine" with the accompanying score, I love it. Matt Dillon has absolutely crushed those three lines with revenge in his tone. Ghost selling the guys out is such a well written and acted scene, especially by Ti. What a masterful scene with the shootout between the Russians and our core group. The music just completely overtaking the scene while splicing in some gunfire and dialogue throughout. Then when Jake flanks the shotgunner and we just hear his breathing as he takes out the last two Russians, it's fantastic. I hate that AJ had to die, but man, he went out in fantastic fashion, taking a bullet to save his crew. Lily being crude, I had a feeling when Ghost was staring daggers at her that something was going to happen. I really like the chemistry between Chris Brown and Michael Ealy. You really feel like they are brothers, especially when not a single word is spoken, but they're loading up to take on the cops outside their place. What a way to film Jesse and Jake being killed. Grainy filter, only seeing their shadows, and muffled gunshots as their shadows fall down. That's probably my favorite scene in this movie, even though there are a lot of really good ones in it. I really enjoyed that Mexican standoff with Ghost, Gordon, and Jack. So well shot and well written, only for John to save the day and kill Ghost and only injure Jack. I had a good time with this movie. It's definitely one I'll have to watch again, but I definitely recommend it if you do want a good heist action movie. Now let's look at some fun facts and trivia about this movie. This movie was originally titled Bone Deep. The director liked where Taker's Gents line from Idris Elba's character so much he changed the name to Takers. According to Tip T.I. Harris, who played Ghost in the film and was also a producer, there was a sequel in the works to this film that would have actually been a prequel that highlighted the original heist the crew performed. That is referenced in the film showing Ghost getting caught and going to prison. The original cast would have would have led lead roles in this sequel prequel, but plans were for that were scrapped when Paul Walker died. Harris commented that there was no way anyone wanted to go ahead with a prequel without Walker out of respect and love for him. The character John Rawley, played by Paul Walker, and the Attica brothers, played by Chris Brown and Michael Ealy, are all named after prisons. Attica is in upstate New York, and Rahway Prison is in New Jersey. According to Tip T.I. Harris, the director John Lucenhop and producers Jason Geeter and Will Packer, Chris Brown did 95% of his own stunts. The club in the movie is also used as the house in Obsessed, starring Beyonce and Idris Elba. In his annual appraisal of the year's top movies, author Stephen King called the armored car heist segment the best action sequence of 2010. Chris Brown's Bigfoot chase through downtown LA was shot over a period of 5 days. The film was originally set in New York City, then retooled for San Francisco before the final decision was made to set it in Los Angeles. The suits that the characters wear throughout the film were provided by Tip T.I. Harris. Hayden Christensen wasn't originally in the film. His role was written in the script 2 weeks prior to production starting because he wanted to be in the film. According to Tip T.I. Harris, the film had been in development for 5 years prior to his involvement. And that's it for my take on Takers. A film that moves fast, hits hard, and leaves just enough room for everything to unravel when the pressure's on. It's a story about loyalty, ambition, and what happens when the perfect plan meets real consequences. Thanks for watching Movies on the Brain. I'm Jayson, and I'll see you next time where the next job might be smoother or not.